All right, today we are diving deep into some massive leaks about a phone that's still a couple of years out, the Google Pixel 11 Pro. Seriously, the details that are starting to surface could signal a complete, and I mean complete, revolution for the entire Pixel line. So let's get right into it. You know, for years, there's been this one giant question mark just hanging over the Pixel series. It's a single issue that frustrates even the most diehard fans. So the question we have to ask is, has Google finally, after all this time, fixed its biggest mistake? To really get why these new leaks are so incredibly exciting, we first have to look back at the history. Let's talk about the infamous Pixel battery curse. It's a long, well-documented struggle with power, performance, and, oh yeah, a whole lot of heat. The problem really kicked into high gear with Google's own chips. The whole Tensor era started back in 2021, and with it came some really severe overheating issues. And yeah, they made some tweaks over the years, but the core problems never really went away. I mean, by the time the Pixel 9 came around, charging speeds were still just painfully slow. And listen, this wasn't just a numbers problem on a spec sheet, it was a real-world headache. It meant dealing with that battery anxiety. You know that feeling when you look at your phone at 3 p.m. and it's already dying? And then you'd have to wait nearly an hour and a half for a full charge on a $1,000 phone. In this day and age, that's just no. It's unacceptable. But that brings us to now, and to the leaks for the 2026 Pixel 11 Pro, because the numbers we're about to see, well, they could change absolutely everything we thought we knew about these phones. Okay, the first number is a big one, 5,400 milliamp hours. The leaks are pointing to a massive battery. This is apparently made possible by some new silicon carbon tech that lets them pack more capacity into a slimmer design. This isn't just a small step up, folks. This is a monumental leap in raw endurance. Of course, the other half of the battery equation is charging speed, right? Well, the leaks are pointing to a 45-watt wired charging upgrade. This would finally put the Pixel on par with its competitors and hopefully end those excruciatingly long wait times. So when you put it all together side by side like this, you can really see the jump we're talking about. We could be going from the slow, steady drain of the past to a future with a much, much larger battery and way faster charging. It's a total transformation. But here's the thing. A giant battery doesn't mean a whole lot if the engine is a gas guzzler. The leaks suggest Google knows this, because the real secret weapon here, it isn't actually the battery, it's the chip. So the upcoming Tensor G6 chip is rumored to be built by the legendary TSMC on a cutting-edge 2-nanometer process. Now, in simple terms, that means the little pathways inside the chip are incredibly tiny. Think of it like going from a windy country road to a 10-lane superhighway for electricity. It just flows so much easier, which means less heat and way less wasted energy. And the result of that fancy 2-nanometer process? A reported and staggering 30% reduction in power draw. This chip sips power instead of guzzling it, which is going to make that massive 5,400 milliamp hour battery last even longer. You know, this efficiency isn't just about screen on time. As analysts are pointing out, it's really about solving that dreaded overheating problem that Pixels have during intense tasks, like shooting 4K video or just using the camera for a long time. So, okay, we've got a huge battery and a super efficient chip. But the leaks suggest there's a third piece to this puzzle that ties it all together into a true power system, one that's designed to finally end the battery curse. It's this three-part strategy, a perfect synergy. First, you have the efficient Tensor G6 chip that just sips power. Second, the massive battery provides all the stamina you could need. And third, Android 16's AI will be working in the background, intelligently managing power. This is the combination that could actually deliver on that promise of a true 2-day battery life. And the real-world benefit of that 45-watt charging, it's staggering. I mean, just look at this. We could be going from an hour and a half to get a full charge down to around 45 minutes. You're cutting your waiting time almost in half. That is a game changer for daily use. Okay, so the specs look incredible on their own, for sure. But how do they compare to what we expect from the competition in 2026? Let's try to put all of this into context. Looking at this comparison, it's pretty clear the Pixel 11 Pro XL isn't just playing catch-up anymore. With a battery size that could lead the pack, competitive charging, and that cutting-edge 2-nanometer chip, it's actually positioned to be a market leader in power and efficiency.
All right, so we've looked at the long history of the problem, the groundbreaking leaked solution, and how it all stacks up against the competition. So, what's the big takeaway here? Is this a revolution that's actually worth waiting for?
Look, these leaks don't just suggest a small yearly update. They are pointing to a fundamental reinvention of the Pixel's entire power system. The combination of that massive battery, a hyper-efficient chip, and finally some fast charging, it feels like it's designed to solve every major hardware complaint users have had for years. And that really just leads us to the final question. The evidence, at least on paper, points to a complete turnaround for the Pixel series. But is it compelling enough for you? Is this potential battery revolution enough to make you wait all the way until 2026?